EOS and our allies. Hey, good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the Central. Good evening on the East Coast. You know who it is. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on Angela Nirvana presents The Way I See It, Friends of ADOS TV family. Woo-wee. We've got a lot to talk about. I am dizzy from slaying the ADOS dragons, the boomers, the sleep Gen Xers, and the movement is quite fatigued from trying to wake you guys up to help you understand that you are being replaced by immigrants in this country. Tonight's show is going to spell it out. Los Angeles, I'm going to revisit that. I'm going to talk about how we're $200 liquid to Kamala'S people's $245,000 liquid. I'm going to talk about Boston, $8 liquid. I'm going to talk about Miami, $11 liquid. And I'm going to show you comparatively how you are being wiped off the face of the nation that your ancestors built with their lives because you want the ADOS movement to do this two-step lesser to evil, two-step shuffle all the way to hell. That's the train y'all been on for 60 years, and we are all the way at George Floyd, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And that's what y'all suggest we continue to do when Kamala said she ain't got nothing specifically for you, but she's planning on giving H-1B visas to her Brahmin Indian caste people to come to this country and take over tech jobs. But nothing specifically for ADOS and Gen Xers, some of you. Boomers, some of you want us to vote for the author of the 94 crime bill and Cali's top cop. Y'all got the ADOS movement all the way mixed up. It's about tangibles for everybody. But y'all don't want ADOS to be self-interested. Y'all don't want ADOS to get that reparations check, but I bet you'll cash it when we get it. I bet you'll do that. I bet you won't send it to me in my P.O. box. Y'all want us to do all the heavy lifting all over the country for this reparations, and you want us to sign up for our own extinction while immigrants replace us. Well, we got a show for you today. Let me tell my people over here, hello. Chucky Williams, what's up? Thank you for joining the live. Create Wealth, thank you for joining the live. Tori Fields, thank you for joining the live. Cosetta Osler, thank you for joining the live. Braham Putra, 24, I see you, family. Marjorie Melvin, I thank you guys for joining the live. We're going to get into this topic today. I'm going to try to do this show in less than an hour. Okay, because I need to run this one into the ground with these stats I'm about to share with y'all. But first, I'm going to bring up a little Dorothy Tillman. She was an older woman.
Because we are so happy.
Here we go.
To have a black face in the White House. That we have to get back in our place where they had us before. Now, let me tell you, I refuse. And I teach my children. And for the youth who's out there watching today, I grew up in the civil rights movement, and it's been young people who have really moved this movement. And if we don't stand and be strong, we cannot make our young people cowards by being quiet. We just can't do that. It is not about anybody around this table, Tavis. It's not about us. It is about our future. It is about our children. It is about our communities. We live in what you call representative government. Now, what makes me upset is that we work and put black folks in office and they say, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. That's too black. Now, everybody thinks that something is wrong with you. Don't you know that everybody in this country and in the world expected the president to deal with the black agenda? The Irishmen deal with the agenda. The Italians deal with their agenda. The Latina deal with their agenda. That's just natural. Right. When Harold Washington was mayor, Harold Washington say, because I love black folks don't mean I hate anybody else.
Right. Dorothy Tillman.
Because we are so happy to have a black face in the White House that we have to get back in our place where they had us before. Now, let me tell you, I refuse, and I teach my children, and for the youth who's out there watching today, I grew up in the civil rights movement, and it's been young people who have really moved this movement. And if we don't stand and be strong, we cannot make our young people cowards by being quiet. We just can't do that. It is not about anybody around this table, Tavis. It's not about us. It is about our future. It is about our children. It is about our communities. We live in what you call representative government. Now, what makes me upset is that we work and put black folks in office, and they say, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. That's too black. Now, everybody thinks that something is wrong with you. Don't you know that everybody in this country and in the world expected the president to deal with the black agenda? The Irishmen deal with the agenda. The Italians deal with their agenda. The Latina deal with their agenda. That's just natural. Right. When Harold Washington was mayor, Harold Washington say, because I love black folks don't mean I hate anybody else.
Right. Dorothy Tillman.
Family, because I love ADOS doesn't mean I hate everybody else. Okay? And this is what they're trying to make this about. Kamala's color. Whether she's black, we don't care. You can be black, but it doesn't make you ADOS. It doesn't make you an American descendant of chattel slavery. Furthermore, you are really flattening the real issue here. The fact that we are bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives. We made cotton king to the tune of $42 trillion. What's up, Shay Coulter, ADOS New Jersey? Thank you for joining the live. Yes, Marjorie Melvin says, I love Queen Mother Dorothy Tillman, truth teller out of Chicago. That's right, if you want to look her up. That was an extraordinary bit on one of the round tables with Tavis Smiley when Obama was in office. Brenda Renee Smith, thank you for joining the live. Moni Love. All right now, yes, lineage matters, and I'm about to show you why they won't repair you, why they want to give you symbolism, why they want to give you Obama 2.0. They are marching us off to our deaths. And education matters not. Let's get into it. First, we're going to revisit LA. I'm going to try to do this briefly so that, I can get you guys out of here and run this one into the ground. I wanted to share some things with you guys that, on second glance really was troubling in the seat of my soul, because down here in Los Angeles, we are 6% of the population, and they didn't even break out in the Color of Wealth LA what percentage is African immigrant, what is Caribbean immigrant, and who is ADOS. So I don't really know, given the costs of living here, how many of us are still here. We are 44% of the blacks that are here educated, but they broke out African blacks and said the same thing about them. But with that 6%, they didn't break out which portion of the blacks they're referring to have 44% of higher degrees. Let me get to it. I beg your patience. I have to scroll and jump around between a few reports. These are free reports that you can download yourself and study to your heart's content. I'm just trying to hit the hot buttons on how education doesn't close the egregious racial wealth gap like they promised. And when you continue to encourage woke Gen Xers like myself and millennials to do this two-step lesser of two evil shuffle, you are signing them up for their own extinction in the country their ancestors built with their lives. And the more immigrants that are in office, they're going to do with our reparations what they've done with CARICOM. I recently learned that CARICOM is not giving any cash repair. That's not the kind of reparations we're seeking in this country. We're not about to trust these people with more programs that they give with the left and give away with the right. We already know how that worked for affirmative action. White women benefit first and foremost from the affirmative action that was due us to make us whole after we were emancipated. Okay, immigrants are next in line, and you'll see in the numbers when I break it down for you in LA, Boston, and Miami. Okay, LGBTQ climbing right over top of us. And then there's us, which there's nothing left, because when I share with you the private sector here and those numbers and how we've just been excluded, you'll understand why we are educated but have no social capital, which means it's harder for us to get good paying jobs. And when they do employ us, they're paying us the least of all the immigrants and the whites. Let's get into it. So once again, let's talk about whites. Okay, see, here we go. This is how they trick you. They tell you 6% black. They won't break that out, but here they broke it out. Whites hold 56.9% bachelor degree or higher. U.S. blacks, 44%. African black, 58.9%. Now let's jump down to Kamala'S people, Asian Indian. 79.2% hold bachelor degrees or higher. The Filipinos hold 76.7% bachelor degree or higher. Okay. Chinese, 68.4%. Japanese, 68.6%. Other Latina, 45.7%. Mexican, 17.8%. We're more educated than the Mexicans here, but they're only $3,500 shy of the median income of ADOS down here. Okay. The median family income for whites is $95,000. U.S. black, $53,500. African black, $115,000. Mexican, $50K. Other Latino, $40K. Chinese, $70K. Japanese, $75K. Korean, $60K. Vietnamese, $50K. Filipino, $80K. And Kamala'S people, $100,000. They are $15,000 shy of what African blacks down here earn. Okay. But they're more degreed. African black at 58.9, Asian Indian at 79.2. Okay. So let me move down because I want to talk to you about liquidity. Okay. 91.6% of whites have liquid assets, 62.3% U.S. black, to African blacks, 87%. I'm going to jump down to some of the higher numbers, the ones that are higher than U.S. black. Chinese, 90.2%, Japanese, 93.3%, Korean, 88.8%, Vietnamese, 70.2%, Filipino, 85.6%. Kamala'S people, Asian Indian, have 95% of them have liquid assets. I'm jumping down because, like I said, I'm just doing bullets. When you're dealing with stocks in IRAs down here, I'm going to deal, like I said, only with the groups that are above U.S. black. Whites have stocks. 40.7% of whites here have stocks. U.S. black, 21.5%. African blacks have less stocks than us. but more IRAs. I'll get to it. Hold on. Chinese have 48.8% stocks, Japanese 60.8%, and Korean 23.6%. Filipino 41.9% in stocks, Asian Indian, Kamala'S people, 58.6% invested in stocks. That's more than whites at 40.7% and far more than US Black at 21.5%. Let's deal with IRAs and annuities. White folks, 63.6, US Black, 37.9. Remember I told you African Blacks have fewer stocks, but they are 48.5% above US Blacks in terms of IRAs. I'm only dealing with the numbers over US Black. Chinese, 48.3%. Japanese, 62.3%. Filipino, 55.6%. Asian Indian, Kamala'S people, 38.6%. Slightly above US Black in terms of IRAs. Let's move on, and then we're going to go to Boston. Y'all should be clutching your pearls as some of your Gen Xers and some of your boomers are trying to march you into extinction by voting for the Democrats. Now, mind you, this report is from 2000 to 2014 when Bush and Obama were at the helm as 1 million white millionaires were created on Obama's watch, while 44% of US Black have education down here, but we're on the bottom, $200 liquid. Let me keep going. But y'all want more symbolism over tangibles. Y'all don't want to get into this fight with us for reparations and a Black agenda. I don't know why you feel so low about yourself, but what I gather is that the ones that aren't fighting with us, family, are comfortable. And they don't want to disrupt what they got going on. And they're mad at ADOS for disrupting this entire election. And I will be doing a show every day to do just that, to break the back of the establishment and neoliberal politics. I'm here for it. Me and my comrades are all through the Facebook tearing it down and exposing the truth about what's going on in this country to us who have yet to be repaired. And this is the way the government thinks is going to skip over our repair and just march us off into extinction. And you got some boomers and some Gen Xers signing up for this nonsense and teaching their millennials to do the same because Kamala looks like us. While already telling you, while clutching her invisible skiwi bison pearls, she's not doing anything specifically for you while you see how her people are winning. I'm jumping down because I want to get into worth. This is huge, how liquid we are. Liquid assets and total assets, let's get into it. White folks' median value of their liquid assets is $110,000. US Black, $200. African Black, $60,000. Chinese, $130,000 liquid. Japanese, $140,000 liquid. Filipino, $80,000 liquid. Kamala'S people are the highest. Asian Indians, $245,000 liquid here in Los Angeles. You got me mixed all the way up if you think I'm voting for this trick bag. Who tells you she's not doing anything specifically for ADOS. Let's talk about total assets. That was liquid. White folks, $355,000 to U.S. black, $30,000 to African black, $152,000 to other Latino, $43,000 to Chinese, $408,500 total assets. Japanese, $595,000 total assets. Vietnamese, $40,000. Filipino, $243,000. Asian Indian Kamala'S people, $460,000 in total assets. To U.S. black, $30,000 in total assets and $200 liquid, with 44% of us having education. Let that sink in while I move to Boston. In Boston, whites hold 55.2% of their group has bachelor's degree or higher. U.S. black have 43.4% have bachelor's degree or higher. This is where it's different. African blacks out here, predominantly Caribbean blacks are counted out there. Caribbean blacks have more education than us at 44.2%, although slight. I'm only dealing with the numbers bigger than U.S. black. Other Hispanic, Asians, 72.7% of them have bachelor's degree or higher. Okay, let's deal with those numbers in terms of who's married. White folks, 54% of them are married. Only 24.8% of us are married in Boston. We can't afford marriage. Caribbean blacks are beating us by 32.1% of them are married. Cape Verdean, 32.1%. Dominican, 32.1%. Other Hispanic, 34.4%. And Asians are 58% married. Let's deal with the median age. Whites and U.S. black are 55, the median age. What's happening to our young people? We can't afford to marry. We can't afford to procreate. Now, we know white folks have a procreation problem. U.S. blacks ain't never had that problem. They simply can't afford to marry and have children. The median age is 55 here. Caribbean black, 50. Cape Verdeans' average age is 37. Puerto Ricans is 44. Dominicans are 40. Other Hispanic, 51. And Asians, 43. With median ages like this, they're in position to take it over. They're younger than us. But y'all want symbolism running through the streets like you just came up on Kamala. Let's deal with the median family income. Whites, $90,000 is their median income. To U.S. black, 41.2. I'm only dealing with higher than 41.2 black U.S. Caribbean blacks, 55,000 is their median income. But they only have a percentage point more in terms of their education. Do you see the racism that's going on? Arthur Ward shared on my show the other day about unflattening blackness that his buddy told him he goes into interviews and stresses that he's not from here. He highlights the fact that he's Caribbean to get employment. It's clear by the median income and how small the margin is on how our higher degrees run that weaponizing your immigrancy is working for you to the tune of, what is this? $10,000, $14,000 more in your median income because you're getting hired over ADOS, although we have a 1% differential in how we're educated in terms of higher degrees. Let that sink in. Even Cape Verdeans are making more, 46,000, and they have fewer degrees. Their degrees are 33.3% to US Black 43.4%. But their median income is 46,000 to our 41.2. Y'all got the movement mixed up. We are tearing this down. America will fall this semester, this election cycle. Trust and believe me, boo-boos. It's going down. Other Hispanics, 65,000 to our 41.2 median income. Asian, 96,000. They're the highest. To our 41.2. And we built all the wealth everybody eats off this table that we are the legs of. Yeah, we did this. Everybody eating and living good. Why do you think they running against your reparations? This is what the boomers, some of them, and some of the Gen Xers are asking you and your children and grandchildren to do. Eat the cost of slavery all the way to your extinction. Vote blue no matter who. Lesser, too evil, two-step shuffle all the way to hell. That's what they want you to do. Not here, baby, because I'm educated and I know the data. And that's what ADOS is on, that data. We've been doing this since 2014. We ain't new to this. For those of you who are just waking up to the fact that I am a revolutionary for the ADOS people. Now you hear why. Moving on. This makes my blood boil. Liquid assets. 95.7% of the white folks are liquid. 82.6% of US Black, reading everything higher than us. 84.8% Caribbean Black. 73.7%. Wait, that's not higher than us. Okay. Stop at Caribbean Black, 84.8 to US Black, 82.6. On the bottom, in every category, family, these are your elected officials working for you. This is a CBC working for you. They have a lot of immigrants running that CBC, including Sheila Jackson Lee over our reparations, who wants to give it to other Blacks in this country. Immigrants. And y'all wonder why I'm hotter than fish grease behind her being at the head of our HR 40, which has no teeth in it. And we are pushing for that. I don't understand why all y'all ain't picking up a brick and signing up with the ADOS movement. This is our new civil rights moment. You either get on board or get out the way. Because we're not doing this with y'all no more. Percent of households with stocks, 39.5. US Black, 39.5 is white. 9.6% of US Blacks have stocks. 8.3% Caribbean Black. That's lower than us. Let me go down. Puerto Ricans. No. Other Hispanic, 19.4%. IRAs. White folks got 56.2 IRAs of private annuities. To US Black, 21.2%. To Cape Verdeans, 38.6%. Other Hispanic, 28%. To our 21.2% with IRAs. Bear with me, family. I'm looking at liquid assets. Here we go. Here we go. Liquid assets. White folks have $25,000 liquid assets to U.S. Black $670 liquid in Boston. Boston, New England. Caribbean Blacks, $3,500 liquid to U.S. Blacks, $670 liquid. We are 1% higher. No, Caribbean Black have 1% more bachelor degree or higher than U.S. Black, but they're liquid $3,500 to our $670. Even other Hispanic is $700 liquid to our $670. Let's look at total assets. White folks, $256,500 total assets. U.S. Black, $30 more than their liquidity. $700 to white folks, $256,500. Caribbean Black, $12,000 total assets to U.S. Black, $700. Other Hispanic, $15,000 total assets to U.S. Black, $700. Excuse me, family. Everybody's trying to call while I'm doing this show. Just a second. Mute. This is a nightmare. This is why you see me losing my mind. I'm trying not to cuss because I want, folks to be able to share it with their children. I'm going to try to not lose my religion in this show, but I'm very close. Median net worth, white folks, $247,500. 100% of them are worth that. U.S. Black median net worth, $8. To 100% of white folks, $247,500. Caribbean Black, $12,000 median net worth. To U.S. Black, $8, and our ancestors made Cotton King to the tune of $42 trillion. Puerto Ricans, $3,020 median net worth. To U.S. Black, $8. Other Hispanics even, $2,700 median net worth. To U.S. Black, $8. Keep me near the fence, Father. Bachelor's degree or higher, whites, 98.1%, blacks, 88.7%. Median net worth, $8. Hispanic, 74.7%. Home ownership rate, white, 82.4% to blacks, 47.9%. They're not breaking out. This is why we can't get excited about the numbers, because they're lumping all black together. This is why flattening blackness is a problem. Because I shared with you throughout both the LA color of wealth and now Boston, how Caribbean blacks only had 1% higher education than ADOS, but they're far more liquid. And they're making about $14,000 more than us in terms of median income. So they're flattening blackness here. Home ownership, 47.9. I don't even know what percentage of us could that be if we're lumped all together. and only worth $8 liquid. Vehicle home ownership rate, 84.1% white, 79% black, 90.6% Hispanic. A mind once stretched by new information can never return to its original dimension, family. This is why ADOS take catnaps. Let's move on to Miami. Almost done, family. Hang in there. Y'all need this information, and I'm running it into the ground. I highly recommend all of you run it into the ground. Start your watch parties. Be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Friends of ADOS TV. Facebook is putting me in jail on a regular for telling y'all this TR Ruth. You hear me? They're trying to bury me. I'm moving to Miami. Let me find just bear with me. I'm scrolling to thousands of pages trying to jump to my locations. I couldn't successfully copy and paste the tables over to make my point fluid, so I gotta scroll, family. Forgive me. It's a lot of information to compile and to process, okay, to analyze. I'm trying to drill it down so you don't have to. But the reports are available to you. Just download the free PDFs and study to your heart's content. Maybe this will make you mad enough to do as the ADOS is doing, which is delivering a Democratic Congress only. Okay, we are marking ADOS in the president and the VP. And if Trump is elected, let Trump and the Democratic Congress lock it down. You hear me? The only weapon we have is our vote. We have no money. We're not at the table, so we're on the menu. Yes, I'm a part of a super PAC. But do you know how long it's going to take for us, given what I'm sharing with you about the median net worth and the median incomes in the Black community, to raise the kind of money we need to get ADOS candidates who are full-chested about reparation of the Black agenda elected into Congress? We need an immediate solution. And the one ADOS has been on for a few years now is to show up and vote Democratic down ballot. Give them the Congress with a Republican president and VP, nothing will get done. So that we can continue to get in position to get a check versus a study into perpetuity while paying Congress, who is locking ADOS out. Yes, they are. They're not taking any of our edits to that HR 40 that has no teeth in it whatsoever. No money in the current HR 40. That's why you see people signing up for it, in addition to the fact that it's an election year and they're pandering for your vote while offering you a study into perpetuity when we know what time it is. Shout out to Yvette Carnell, who was on CNN yesterday breaking it all the way down. It's in my Facebook feed. I can't recall the name of the show off the top of my head, but a white cat in there on the low end said we were owed $19 trillion. That's $2 trillion more than Sandy Darity's number. And he was talking 3 cents an hour during slavery, compounded at 3% interest. Got him the $19 trillion on the conservative end. He hadn't even factored in Jim Crow and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. That's a low number. While white folks sit up here and have stolen enough of our wealth that we created to now be sharing between them 100 trillion household dollars to ADOS less than 700 billion. 90% of us who are ADOS in this country share less than 700 billion, as they sit up here and act like if you would just stop buying Jordans, you could have wealth. Let me help you. Not buying Jordans or not weaving your hair or not buying acrylic nails will not close a $100 trillion egregious racial wealth gap. for you ignorant black folks that want to come for me in my feed. That was stolen. Lincoln gave us the 40 acres and a mule. While I'm on that, pick up the book Prejudential. Mine just arrived. I will be going through that book about all the presidents from Abe Lincoln all the way to Barack Obama and the puck-ish all of them were on, and why we are now $200 liquid in LA, $8 liquid in Boston, and $11 liquid in Miami, while Obama has 1 million white millionaires to his credit during his term. Pick up the book. That's the first book club read of the Angela Nirvana Presents The Way I See It, Friends of ADOS TV. Get the book. I'm going in. I will probably do a president a day, or I'm going to divide them up all the way up into election to enlist you to help me to tear the establishment down. It is time for America to fall. I need all my soldiers. The ancestors are not rolling up over in their graves because me and all the other brave ADOS are tearing down the establishment, this neoliberal conservative nonsense that's only working for the elite. Because the new color of white in America, it ain't new. The color of white in America is green. The ancestors are rolling up because we're not demanding tangibles in exchange for our vote like the other groups. That's what the rollover is about. And the fact that you aren't willing to weaponize your vote, the last election cycle we're going to have in this country, to really upset the elections and lock it down and break the back of it. That's what the ancestors are rolling over in their grave about. Since you need clarification. They didn't die for us to vote while putting our intellect in the damn trunk. I'm in Miami. I'm just getting to the meat and potatoes so I could close this show out. Hotter than fish grease, y'all. This is why we're dying disproportionately from COVID. This is why we have the highest number of cases of COVID. Can't afford health care due to institutional systemic racism, no fault of our own. Make this video go viral. That's what you do. Okay, let's get to this first table and see if it's worth talking about. Okay, I'm gonna run through this, but I want to see numbers. So the percentage of households with liquid assets. I'm not doing checking and savings. Y'all can look that up. But in terms of liquidity, white folks are 94.9% of white folks have liquid assets. U.S. Black, 58.9%. Caribbean Black, 72.9%. Puerto Ricans, AOC's people, 79.2%. Cubans in Miami, 86% have liquid assets. South Americans, 79.6%. Other Hispanic, 70.7%. All of them have more liquid assets than Black folks down in Miami. The percent that own stocks, 39.7% of white folks own stocks. U.S. Black, 10.8%. Puerto Ricans, 12.7%. Cubans, 17.4%. Other Hispanic, 14.4%. Those are the groups that are beating the brakes off of native-born Blacks who built all the wealth you see in this country and made cotton king to the tune of $42 trillion. We're at 10.8% in stocks. IRAs, white folks, 39.4% to U.S. Black, 22.7% to Puerto Ricans, AOC's people, 28.4%. Cubans, 31.6%. South American, 23.7%. Other Hispanic, there's no need to read that, they're lower. That was IRAs and private annuities. They'll be fine in retirement. Moving on. Almost done, family. Hold on. This is important. 42.1% have credit cards, US Black. We're only worth $11. So all that money, all them trillions they talking about, you guys have spending power, you halfway mostly on credit. Boo. Wake up from your sensationalism. Stop talking about how well you're doing. If you're doing well, you are an anomaly. All it takes is $150K a year to be at the top 10% of Blacks in this country when we built all the wealth. Okay? So you ain't special, boo. Percentage of households that have tangible assets by asset type. Home ownership, 63.6% white, 50.8% Black. Caribbean Blacks have more homes than we do, 61.6. Cubans, 63.8. South American, 52.2. And other Hispanic is 56.1. To US Black, who built all the wealth in this country, 50.8%. Vehicles. White folks got 92.7% of them have vehicles. To US Black, 80.2%. Cubans have 86.2%. Other Hispanic have 85.3% have cars. Moving on. I'm just jumping to the meat and potatoes, family. They clearly aren't showing us the numbers. Not in a lot of this stuff I'm looking at. Okay. Here we go. The value of assets held by households by race and ethnicity. White folks' median net worth is 10,000. Let me back up. Excuse me. This is dealing with liquid assets. Okay. White folks are $10,750 liquid. To US Black, $11 liquid in Miami. Caribbean Black, $2,000 liquid. I might as well read everybody else right now because everybody's higher than $11. Caribbean Blacks, $2,000 liquid. Puerto Ricans, $200 liquid. Cubans, $3,200 liquid. South American, $2,200 liquid. Other Hispanic, $5,000 liquid. To US Black, $11 liquid. And y'all wonder why we are demanding reparations and a Black agenda and weaponizing our vote to gridlock this until the Democrats come to their goddamn senses. Total assets. White folks, the median amount of their total assets is $113,500. To US Black, $6,700. I got to read everything here because everybody's higher than the US Black. We are the legs of the table everyone else eats from, and we are done being the mules for the Democratic Party. Caribbean Black, $14,000. And you wonder why we had George Floyd 846, because being poor in this country makes you a target. You wonder why there's Black on Black crime and murders in Chicago and all over the country. They have nothing to live for. While some of your boomers and some of your Gen Xers sign you up for more of this. Under Kamala and Jim Crow Joe, the author of the 94 crime bill and Cali's top cop. Not the ADOS movement, that is. Caribbean Black, 14,000 total assets to US Black 6,700. Puerto Ricans, AOC's people, 10,500 total assets to US Black 6,700. Cuban, 26,500 in total assets to US Black $6,700. South American, $12,000 total assets to US Black 6,700. Other Hispanic, 17,000 total assets to US Black 6,700. Median net worth. White folks' median net worth is 107,000 to US Black 3,700 to Caribbean Black 12,000 to Cubans 22,000 to other Hispanic 10,500. That was the median net worth. We're at 3,700 median net worth. But we built this. These Democrats are trying to replace you so they no longer need your vote. We are at DEFCON 4. This will be the last election. Standing up will matter. When they open these borders, when Kamala give her people who are $245,000 liquid to ADOS 200 liquid here in LA, when she gives them H-1B visas to bring them into this country for more tech jobs, and when the Democrats give more Hispanics, open up these borders and have a floodgate of more immigrants coming in here when they're already doing better than us down here, better than us all over the country. The immigrants are doing better than ADOS. It will be game over if we don't weaponize this vote, this election cycle. This was done on Bush and Obama's watch, not Trump's. He's got his issues, but we are on the bottom as Obama and Kamala say no to your reparations, and they're not doing anything specifically for you. Bachelor's degree or higher. They're lumping us all together again. White folks have 92.1% of banked households. The home ownership rate for them is 65.7%. Vehicle ownership rate 97.8%. Blacks, they're lumping us together. I already told you, $8 liquid. I'm sure that this is, the other blacks down in Miami, not us. 78.7% banked households, home ownership rate 71.4%. Vehicle ownership rate is 93.7%. I can't even believe in these numbers because I can't see how ADOS is doing when you flatten blackness. Latinx, 78.2% of banked households, 62.8% home ownership rate, 89.6% in their vehicle rates. And those were of the educated. Just making sure I haven't missed anything. Business ownership and sales by race and ethnicity. This is an important one. In Miami, Percentage of all firms, 77.8% are white, 13.9% are black. Once again, they're lumping us together. This is what's problematic on the census. Speaking of which, fill in ADOS under other and spell out American descendants of slavery. Don't put African American. That's Obama, Kenyan and white. Don't put black. As you see here, that's immigrants and U.S. blacks all lumped together here in Miami. We don't even know if this 13.9%, what percent is ADOS because they lumped us all together. How convenient. Non-Latinx, 50.5% own firms. Latinx, 47% to 13.9% black, and we're lumped together. They broke down Latinx. The Cubans own 40.3% of all firms. Puerto Ricans, 5.5, Mexican, 3.5, but you can't do that for black? Let's talk about the percentage of sales. 92.8% white, 2.1% black, but we don't know if that's any of ADOS participating in those sales at all or benefiting from those sales. Asian, 3.9%, non-Latinx, 68.3, Latinx, 30.1, Cubans, 44.3, Puerto Rican, 3.5, Mexican, 4.1. All of this to a combined lumped together black of 2.1%. Let's talk about the U.S. at large. 78% of the business in the U.S. own firms. 9% of all the blacks in the U.S. own firms. Asian, 7%. Non-Latinx, 86%. 12% Latinx. Cuban, 8.5%. Puerto Rican, 8.5%. Mexicans own 49.1% of all the businesses in the country. It's no wonder Biden is pandering for their vote and telling you they don't need our votes. Propping up the Hispanic community. It's already happened. We're at what, 13%? They're at like what, 15, 16%? And I know y'all want to use the argument they don't vote the same ratios as we do. You want to bet? Why do you think there's a tug of war between Trump's executive orders for DACA and the Democrats? Why do you think they're in a battle for the Latin Hispanic vote? Offering them all kinds of goodies because they've allowed them to come in here and climb right over ADOS to enrich them at our expense. That's why I'm telling you, by 2024, it won't even matter. Sales here in the U.S., 93% of the sales are benefiting white folks. 1% of the sales in the U.S. benefit black, and that's all blacks lumped together. I doubt ADOS is in that 1% if they're only $8 liquid. I'm sorry, this is Miami, $11 liquid. Asian, 6%. Non-Latinx, 96% of the sales are non-Latinx. Latinx, 4%. Cubans, 19.6%. Puerto Rican, 5.2%. And the Mexicans in Miami, United States, 43.2%. Let's talk about the population. White folks are 73.6% of the population. Blacks are 12.6% of the U.S. population. Asians are 5.1%. Non-Latinx is 82.9%. Latinx is 17%. Cubans are 3.5%. Puerto Ricans are 9.4%. And Mexicans are 63.7% of the total U.S. population to blacks 12.6%. But y'all want to keep voting symbolism over tangibles. %13.8% of whites, non-Latinx, were foreign born. U.S. black, non-Latinx, 2.2% of us were foreign born. We were the least of the foreign born. We're from here. We built this. But you heard the numbers tonight, family. Of the Haitians, 63.9% were foreign born. Jamaicans, 72.7% were foreign born. Trinidadians, 72.6% were foreign born. Black Latinx, 14.9% were foreign born. Whites, 32.1% of them have bachelor's degree or higher. U.S. black non-Latinx, 11.8% of us have bachelor degree or higher. Haitians, 9.3%, I'm only dealing with the high ones. Jamaicans, 18% of them have bachelor degree or higher. Trinidadian and Tobago, 20.5% bachelor degree or higher. Black Latinx, 14.1%. Unemployment rate. White non-Latinx, 6.2%. U.S. black non-Latinx, 15.9%. Haitian, 14.5%. Jamaican, 11.6%. Trinidadian, 15%. And Black Latinx, 9.4%. The median income, white non-Latinx, 60,000. U.S. black non-Latinx, 35,100. Haitians, 37,000. Jamaicans, 42,000. Trinidadians, 49,000. Black Latinx, 35,000. We got $100 more than Black Latinx in terms of median income. Home ownership rate. 70.8% of white non-Latinx own their homes. U.S. black non-Latinx, 37.2%. Haitians, 40.8%. Jamaicans, 54.6%. Trinidad, Tobago, 59.5%. Black Latinx, 33.1%. Everybody was more foreign born than ADOS. Let that sink in while I scroll and see if there's anything else. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Oh, I'm over an hour. Oh my God. Family, I don't want to make this more than an hour. My soldiers, we can't give in. We can't give up. We can't give out. You know what you must do. Tear down the tall trees. We must break the back of the establishment and make America fall like Rome. Tear down the tall trees. Government has done this to us. Because they don't want to pay that reparations in the trillions over multi-generations. They want us to eat the cost of slavery. And do understand, ADOS made reparations relevant. H.R. 40 been sitting for 30 years since Connor gave it over to Sheila Jackson Lee. ADOS putting in work all over the country. You need to find a chapter near you and join. We are at DEFCON 4. We are out of time. Burn the mother sucker down. I need my soldiers, not my scared, weak Negroes. I need my soldiers to make this video go viral. And you make sure the author of the 94 crime bill and California's top cop fail epically until they cut the check. No more. Lesser of two evil, two-step dance to hell. We're already there. Until next time, family, let me put a covering over you because it's going to take an act of God to derail this Titanic that we're on. It needs to sink because if it doesn't, guess where ADOS will be? The permanent underclass in the country our ancestors built with their lives. Everybody else will go back to sleep under symbolism because they're winning. That's why they want you to be drunk in love with symbolism. I hope I made that clear tonight on the show. Cut down the tall trees. Burn it to the ground. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS and its allies are, God truly is, because you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until tomorrow, family, where we'll be talking about your Second Amendment and all your rights with Travis Johnson. You make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your evening. I love y'all, Black. I love y'all, strong. ADOS rising. We are here.